Hello, everybody. Welcome to another fun and awesome episode of Youth Connect. I'm Aiden.
I'm Kevin.
Hi, I'm Joshua.
Hi, I'm Logan.
Hi, I'm Jeffrey.
And welcome to our Youth Connect. Welcome, guys, to the first episode of Youth Connect 2024. I hope you guys are excited for this because it's always fun to have you guys around. If you guys don't know, because this is a brand new year, Youth Connect is a news, interest, entertainment show that was created during the pandemic for the community, by the community. And everyone here has news that you are going to be wanting to hear about, including entertainment, some cooking knowledge, live music, and even some gaming news. You'll get a mixed bag of everything. And for those who don't know, it's going to be a show that I know that you might enjoy as long as you stick around to the end. And starting us off, we know, or if you don't know, we always start off with some gaming news. All right, guys. So what we have to do first is that gaming news, where we first go off that spotlight game of the week. This is a game that I have decided that I want to share with you guys or shine the light on. And it is either a game that is coming out, a game that is released recently, or an old classic. And today, the spotlight game of the week is actually one that I did talk about a bit ago, but has finally released recently, called The Prince of Persia: The Lost Crown. So this is a Prince of Persia game, and it actually is quite interesting because it is another Prince of Persia game that has been released in a long time. It's a series that kind of died down and now has now been rising up from the ashes, which is always cool. And basically the description is that you're going to be dashing into a stylish and thrilling action adventure platformer set in the mythological Persian world, where the boundaries of time and space are yours to manipulate. You will be playing as Sargon and must evolve from sword-wielding prodigy to extraordinary legend as you master acrobatic combat and unlock new time powers and unique super abilities. So what are these time powers? Well, basically, let's just say that time is falling apart, and now the world is falling into corruption. You must use these time powers and combat platforming skills and all of the sorts to perform deadly combos and to defeat the time-corrupted enemies and mythological creatures. Now, you'll be discovering a cursed version of the Persian-inspired world, filled with larger-than-life landmarks, and explore a variety of highly detailed biomes, each with their own identity, wonder, and danger. And interestingly enough, you will be immersing yourself in a Persian mythological fantasy through an intriguing and original story as you use your wits to solve puzzles, find hidden treasures, and complete quests to learn more about this corrupted place. Interesting. Now, I'm not a big Prince of Persia person, but I know that a lot of people a lot of people enjoy this series and has a really big cult following. So honestly, the game looks quite interesting, and if you are interested in a 2D platformer with a skill tree, I recommend that you check out Prince of Persia: The Lost Crown. Anyways, though, I'm going to keep the train moving, and next up we have Kevin with some all-important news, and I just cannot wait to hear the interesting fact of the day.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to Youth Connect News, where I bring news, weather, and a very interesting fact. I'm your host, Kevin Aruja, and before we do this on the headlines, happy early New Year. So let's get right into the headlines. Breaking news: the Raptors All-Star Pascal Siakam traded to Indiana Pacers. Ontario expanding numbers of private clinics that can perform OHIP surgeries. The Amazon MGM to start production at Pinewood Toronto studios. At least but not least, Ontario extending Hazel McCallion LRT, into downtown Mississauga and Brampton. That the Toronto Raptors have traded an all-star Pascal Siakam to the Indiana Pacers, according to multiple media reports. The reported trade will see Siakam sent to Indiana in exchange for Bruce Brown and Jordan Nwora. The Raps will also pick up 3 first-round picks. The New Orleans Pelicans are also reportedly involved in the deal and will send Kira Lewis to the Raptors as part of a trade. Siakam has spent his entire NBA career with the Raptors, signing with the team in 2016. The, Cameroon, the Cameroonian forward was a key part of a Raptors 2019 championships win and was named an NBA All-Star twice, once in 2020 and again in 2023, which is last year. According to Jay Rosales, co-host of That's a Rap podcast, sorry, Siakam's expiring contract likely played a large part in the Wednesday deal. Siakam's trade in his second blockbuster move for the team in as many months. In December, the Raptors traded OG Anunoby and Precious Achiuwa to the New York Knicks in exchange for Mississauga's R.J. Barrett and Emmanuel Quickley. The second story is the Ontario government will be allowed even more private clinics to perform surgical and diagnosis procedures to reduce wait times. The announcement, made on Wednesday by Health Minister Sylvia Jones, expands on legislation passed in May that allow private for-profit and not for-profit clinics to conduct surgeries covered under the Ontario Health Insurance Plan. The procedures covered include cataract surgeries, MRI, and CT scans, minimally invasive gynecological surgeries, and knee and hip replacements. Jones said that more than 900 community surgical and diagnosis centers are operating in Ontario to date. Beginning in spring 2024, the government will allow more centers to conduct these surgeries. Jones said it will allow for additional MRI and CT scans and GI endoscopies and orthopedic surgeries to be completed. Jones did not say how many more clinics will be licensed to perform these surgeries. The minister also named Accreditation Canada as the expecting body responsible for ensuring quality and safety standards. Previously, the government has said the College of Physicians and Surgeons of Ontario and the College of Midwives of Ontario would act as expecting bodies for the program. The third story is film and television production company, Amazon MGM Studios has entered into an agreement with Toronto's Pinewood Studios for exclusive use of its facilities in future productions. In a January 17th news conference, the production giant confirmed its multi-year commitment to the Canadian studio space, including the use of 5 new sound stages with the accompanying workshops and office spaces, totaling approximately 160,000 square feet. So far, more than 40 television series and films have been shot in Canada by Amazon MGM Studios. The agreement will focus on commissioning content from Canadian creators and rely on local talent of seamstresses to actors, which officials say will make the industry an economic driver in the city. According to Ontario Creates, an agency of the provincial government that works to increase economic development, investment, and collaboration in this creative industry. There were 419 productions filmed in the province in 2022. They accounted for over $3.1 billion in revenue and experienced continued growth in the industry in the last few years. In addition, Ford said that they have expanded the Ontario Film and Tax Credit to include online productions and plan to spend over $906 million on cultural and media tax credits and invest $6 million towards the film industry in Northern Ontario. And the last story, the Ontario government will be extending the Hazel McCallion LRT further into Mississauga and Brampton. In a letter to Metrolinx CEO Phil Verster, which was obtained by the CTV News Toronto, Transportation Minister Pravmeet Zakaria directed the agency to bring forward a plan to build a downtown Mississauga loop and an extension into the downtown Brampton. The government expected a tight turnaround, asking for an initial business case to be submitted no later than February 5th. This gives Metrolinx just over 2 weeks to consult with municipalities and stakeholders, determine anticipated cost, and provide analysis on route options. A spokesperson for Sakarya told CTV News Toronto in a statement the government has been steadfast in getting shovels in the ground. The currently 18 kilometers line was supposed to open in 2024 and is expected to provide a rapid transition connection from Port Credit GO Station in Mississauga to the Brampton Gateway Terminal. 19 stops, many of which connect to other major transit systems within the Peel region, have already been planned. The line was named after former Mississauga Mayor Hazel McCallion, who held the position for 36 years until 2014. Then Bonnie Crombie took up the mantle. Speaking in an unrelated news conference at the Queen's Park Thursday, Crombie said that the original LRT plans include a loop in Mississauga, but that it was dropped by the Ford government due to a cost consideration. In today's weather forecast, we've got scattered flurries this afternoon. The temperature is now minus 10 degrees. And tomorrow we'll get cloudy with sunny breaks, and the temperature will be minus 8 degrees. As we already know, Pascal Siakam is leaving the Toronto Raptors. Here are the interesting facts that you might not know about Pascal Siakam. The Indiana Pacers just acquired the 2019 NBA champion and a two-time All-Star Pascal Siakam in a trade with the Toronto Raptors on January 17th. Siakam, who had spent his entire 8-year career in Toronto prior to the trade, is regarded as one of the best power forwards in the NBA. So here are some facts about Pascal Siakam. Siakam was born in Douala, Cameroon, and was discovered as a player by retired professional Luc Mbah-a-Moute. Sorry if I'm speaking that wrong. After going to one of the camps as a child, Siakam was selected to participate in the NBA and the FIBA's Basketball Without Borders. At 18 years old, Siakam moved to the United States, where he played basketball at New Mexico State University from 2013 to 2016. At New Mexico State, he earned Western Athletic Conference Men's Basketball Player of the Year honors in his final season. Siakam has earned some significant accolades throughout his career. On top of winning a championship with Toronto, he has also received the NBA's Most Improved Player awards in 2019. Siakam was selected to the NBA All-Star Game in 2020 and 2023, and made the All-NBA Second Team in 2020 and All-NBA Third Team in 2022. Since 2018, he has received the Eastern Conference Player of the Week award 5 times. While tall and strong, Siakam can get out and run. This season, Siakam ranks 11th among all players in points per game in transition. This season, the Pacers ranked second in fast breaks points by averaging 17.3 per game. Indiana has also played in the second fastest pace of play. This is Kevin Aruja reporting news from News Connect, which I bring up news, weather, and a very interesting fact. And I'm sending it back to Aiden. See you next week.
I gotta say, out of all the news choices, my goodness, out of all the news choices, I wouldn't have chosen the interesting fact because I actually think that the best choice, in my honest opinion, was when I heard about Amazon MGM. I can't believe that they've recorded over 40 shows in Canada, and hopefully, with this change, we can have more producers, film directors of all abilities from our community being directly represented. So honestly, it was some great news. And I will ask everyone else, did you guys like a favorite part of Kevin's news? I got to say, the film industry one is great because 40 shows filmed in Canada. That's incredible.
That was really interesting too. Yeah.
Did you guys have a favorite out of Kevin's news?
Well, I would have said Pascal too.
All right. That's good. That's good. You know what? I actually think that Kevin's news is very important, especially for that interesting fact. It gives that thing a little bit of pop, you know? And honestly, thank you so much, Kevin. It was an awesome news. And you know what? I would have never known about Amazon MGM Studios without your part of our section of Youth Connect. So thank you so much. All right, time to move on to the second gaming news. So I actually have some news, which I've been hearing has been like kind of just appearing left, right, and center about the Sonic the Hedgehog 3 movie. So I think that Sonic the Hedgehog fans should be weary about spoilers making their way online, as storyboards allegedly from the upcoming Sonic the Hedgehog 3 live-action movie and the upcoming Paramount Plus series Knuckles have leaked on social media. Now, there aren't many info specifics of what is shown on the story in the storyboards, but at least one of them has some major spoilers for the third film starring Shadow's angsty rival, or edgy rival as I like to call it, Shadow. Any doubts about their authenticity has gone out the window, as Paramount has taken them down from sites hosting their clips. So while they might not stay up in one place for very long, they are out there and appear to be real. Because if we know, guys, when the main major company takes down a post that was apparently a leak, that usually means that it was an actual one. So if you see it, you might get a little bit of a sneak peek. I remember seeing a clip of Shadow the Hedgehog teleporting around and fighting. So that might be one of the leaks as well. Ultimately, these are storyboards and a lot can change in film development. So whether these specific scenes show up in the final movie remains to be seen. Just so you guys know, Sonic the Hedgehog 3 is set to premiere in theaters on December 20th, 2024, with Tails, Sonic, and Knuckles all returning after finally forming their iconic trios in 2022's Sonic the Hedgehog 2. Now, it is going to be awesome because we're going to be having Shadow, Rouge the Bat, and a few other characters, at least what we know for now. It's really interesting to see Sonic the Hedgehog in its third series, but guys, what is this all about? All it is that I want you guys to be careful about what you see on the internet. Try to avoid the spoilers because apparently the storyboards have leaked out. So try your best to avoid spoilers for the Sonic the Hedgehog 3 movie. But again, it's releasing in December 20th. So that's pretty much 11 months away. So there is a lot of change. But if we know with movies, it requires years and years of editing before it can be fully finished. I guess for some, I know it can change in the course of 11 months. But anyways, watch out for those Sonic the Hedgehog 3 leaks. And next up, we have Joshua with some good story news. And of course, the very favorite and fan favorite animal news.
Good afternoon. Welcome to Connect Now for a good news story. Montreal teens hailed as hero for saving couple from drowning in Barbados. A pair of British vacationers were saved from drowning by two Canadian teens who happened to be on the same beach at the same time, and excellent swimmers to boot. 14-year-old Emma Basserin and 13-year-old Zoe McKenzie Ireland have both trained competitively for years. Zoe has a dream of making the Olympic trials with her father as her coach and trains as the Dorval Swim Club in Quebec with the hopes of making that happen. It was 3 p.m. on the South Shore of Barbados when Emma and Zoe finished boogie boarding. They were on the island as part of a training camp but would not go in practice until some time later. Suddenly, they heard a shout. Belinda Stone from England had been caught in a riptide with her husband Robert. With Emma's help, Zoe quickly got Belinda to shore, but Robert was way further out. Many people may vacation on beaches their whole lives and never be taught what to do if caught in a riptide. Zoe and Emma, however, understood the situation well, and after loading the exhausted Robert Stone into their boogie board, Zoe strapped the boogie board on her ankle, and the three of them started to swim parallel to the shore. Until they got out of the rip of the current and wave pattern, Zoe's father, Chuck McClensick, was so proud that what his daughter accomplished said it's a good example of why he thinks every child should take swimming lessons for at least a few years. He feels that every child should be doing swimming until at least 10 to 12 years because it is the only sport that is a life or death that that is a life or death sport. Now for another good news story. She's on path to be a Top Gun or cancer research, but first she wins the Miss America crown. Madison Marsh is not the only current Miss Colorado. She has an Harvard student and a U.S. Air Force second lieutenant who has earned a coveted spot to train as a fighter. But on January 14th, Sunday night, the 22-year-old was gunning for the Miss America crown, an event that now features high-pressure interviews on stage and a fitness competition. And she won it all. As a young girl, Madison had had a love of science and a dream to be a pilot and astronaut. Her parents encouraged her dreams, sending her to space camp when she was 13 years old, where she met astronauts and fighter pilots. At 15 years old, she started flying lessons, earning her pilot's license 2 years later, and then began to work towards her goal of becoming a cadet in the Air Force Academy. She also wanted to try competing in pageants as an extracurricular activity. As Miss Colorado, Marsh enjoyed talking with other young girls about being a pilot. It sees an opportunity to dispel stereotypes that exist about military women. Now, as Miss America, she has untitled opportunities to do more. Madison's future may see her as a Top Gun fighter pilot, but she's currently determining which career opportunities and personal projects she wants to pursue. And the sad loss of her mother to pancreatic cancer may have pulled Madison toward a career in cancer research. She started to realize that her bigger compassions were in policy making and cancer research, so she entered a master's degree program at the Harvard Kennedy School to work to research early detection of pancreatic cancer. Now turning to animal interest news. A Californian dog walker has the opportunity to adopt a disabled chicken, and social media love him so much they've sent over 60 pairs of tiny shoes and boots. The Malaysian Serema breed chicken lost his toes to parasites. His new owner, Mitch Davennon of Escondido, California, had to suffocate the parasites using vaccine and cotton wool, which she had to change 3 times a day, nursing him back to health, and she began affectionately calling him Nubs, and after the short ends of his toes. But this loving attention won her a most charismatic chicken who rules the root among her dogs, cats, guinea pigs, and 11 other chickens. Even though he hobbled around, Davian realized he had trouble moving on hard surfaces and remembered she had a pair of tiny dog slippers that her smallest pooch never used. She thought they might help Nubs. Pretty soon he was getting around a lot better than he did without them because they were great little mobility devices. Last January, the odd couple celebrated 1 year of companionship, and Damian celebrated by making a TikTok account for Nubs with videos of him walking about in his little slippers. It created a viral firestorm of interest in the chicken, with commenters asking if it would be okay to send Nubs more shoes. The packages began arriving by the dozen, and soon Nubs could pick between Sunday shoes, blue suede shoes, dinosaur claw boots, and plushy booties, sandals, and more. She keeps them all in a drawer in her room, and every time a new pair comes in the mail, she posts a video on TikTok of the chicken strutting his stuff. This is Joshua Show reporting for you. That's it for me. Now I'll send it back to you, Aiden.
Oh, Joshua, I absolutely loved the animal news, and today was no exception. Absolutely amazing. And honestly, I would have be very confused if I was sent 60 pairs of shoes for a chicken without toes. And when you really think about that topic or that title, it definitely is an interesting animal news. And I guess that's what we're always looking for in News Connect. So it always brings a smile on my face. And also, I got to say, the Montreal teens, you know what? It's very important, guys, that we learn the ways of water and how we can prevent drownings. And you know what? It's better to learn how to swim. It's very important that we learn the importance of swimming, because remember this, guys, that the earth is almost 70% water. So we have to learn how to swim eventually. Amazing news, Joshua. I will ask everybody, did you guys have a favorite part of Joshua's news that you enjoyed, or anything specific? I like the shoe one. The shoe one was my favorite.
The shoe one was my.
I like the animal news.
Very kind of good way to help the chicken.
Yeah, you know what? Even though Jay didn't have any toes, they had some shoes so they could walk around. I gotta say, chickens running around in shoes are absolutely hilarious because they walk. Oh goodness gracious! They kind of walk around like they kind of walk around like this. Like they have to like go. Ooh, they have to do big steps, so it's really funny. I absolutely love the news, Kevin. All right, sorry, Joshua. My gosh. Oh, wait, actually, no, that's what my brain was trying to think about. Kevin, what was your favorite part was what? I didn't hear you.
The animal news, like the chicken without any legs.
Without the feet. Okay.
Yeah, without the feet. Sorry.
Okay. So Joshua, I guess you can say that we all love the animal news. So keep up with that awesome news always. We always love it, and I bet you everybody that's watching the show right now loves it just as much. Anyways, though, I'm going to keep the train moving. I'm not going to bring you board game just yet, because next up we have a Logan who's going to be sharing us his cooking knowledge that he has learned about today.
Hello, Youth Connect. I am Logan. So, Happy New Year, everybody. It's a brand new year, and as such, I am moving into a new semester at Humber College, where I have a bunch of new classes. And one of them that I'm taking right now is menu planning. And so it's only been 2 weeks since I've integrated into the class, but I've learned a whole lot from it, and I am here to teach you some of that stuff as well. So for this week, I'll be teaching you all basically like the basics on how to create a menu. So the first thing we need to address when it comes with making a menu is figuring out what exactly makes a menu so important. So the importance of a menu, whether it be for a restaurant, or a hospital, a senior care center, or any other institution that serves food, is, well, the most important factor is that it establishes what food is being served at the establishment. It can also be used as sort of like an expression of what the establishment is, like what it means, what it stands for, what its like design is. It also, of course, shows the prices for these food, and it basically makes or breaks an operation's reputation and success. There's this one thing that my professor told me about in the class that really resonated with me. Basically, a menu is a strategic plan of an establishment. Think of it like that. So when going into the types of menus, there are predominantly 3 types of menus: a static menu, a cycle menu, and a single-use menu. And I will go through what all 3 of these things mean. So a static menu is a menu that essentially lists the same food items every single day. Doesn't matter what day it is, the establishment will always sell these food items. And these are most commonly like the menus that you see at like different restaurants, different diners. Here I just have a basic menu from like this breakfast place, Pure and Simple. Really good place, by the way. Check it out. And so, yeah, a static menu like this one, basically, it sells the same menu items every day, and that doesn't change depending on like the day of the week or the week of the month. So moving on to the second type of menu, a cycle menu is a menu where the menu items change on a cycle, usually based on like a daily basis, like the day of the week, or a weekly basis, such as like the week of the month. And this is commonly used in more institutional food services, stuff like senior care centers. Like, for example, like when I went to my work placement during the summer at Rivera Senior Care, they operated with a cycle menu, both for daily and weekly, meaning that every day they were serving a different breakfast, different lunch, different dinner, and the same goes for every week. So it wasn't like on a loop. So the final type of menu, the third type, is a single-use menu. And what this basically is like your special limited time offers. These menus are used for a very short period of time, usually to highlight like very limited time offers for like special occasions such as holidays. Like take for example Thanksgiving, where you would have a restaurant limited time like offering different Thanksgiving based dishes like turkey and stuffing and maybe a pumpkin pie. Or you would also have institutions that also do like special Thanksgiving. This really applies for every holiday, and that's basically the purpose of a single-use menu. It's used one one time for like very briefly, and then it's thrown away. Maybe they'll bring it back next year, but they might also change it up a little bit. But yeah, that's a single-use menu. So the second thing that I'd like to talk about when it comes to having to build a menu is how you price your food items. And there are two different pricing methods that are commonly used in establishments. When it comes to pricing, it should be noted that you really only just apply to like restaurants and bars and diners. None of these hospitals or senior care centers where food is absolutely important, and you of course can't just charge people for it. When it comes to pricing menus, it'll be for restaurants. So there are two different ways. There's a la carte, which basically means that the menu item is charged individually. Like say for instance, you'll have your main dish, and then there's the side dishes, and there's the drink. And you will pay for all three of these things separately. And so going into my example here with Pure and Simple, you can see here that the drinks are priced specifically separately from the other meals. So your stuff like your coffees and your smoothies, by the looks of this menu, they're priced separately. You buy them separate. They do not come with your meals. And the second method of pricing menus is called a table d'hôte. And it's, of course, your typical stuff like combos and like specials. Basically, the menu items are charged as complete meals where you can get your main dish, your side dish, sometimes a drink. And Pure and Simple from this menu also does this as well for certain items. Like, for example, it says here for your, you buy a gourmet omelet and it's served with their famous potatoes and also some toast. And so you can see here that the side dish is directly integrated in with the main item. It is essentially a combo, and that's basically the table d'hôte pricing. There are some other factors to consider when planning food items for a menu, of course. Three more. The first thing you want to think about when thinking about what food items you want on your menu is the customers. And what you want to figure out is basically like, what are your customers? What is your customers' demographics, their culture? What do they like most for their food preferences? And say for also what their like living situation is. This is important for like determining like what type of culture your food comes from, as well as how much to charge your customers based on what their like what their situation like monetarily is. And you want to account for like a variety of different customers coming into your restaurants, like say locals or tourists. The next thing to consider is the aesthetic of your food, how it will look like, how it tastes, and how is it prepared. Of course, different types of restaurants will have different ways of preparing the aesthetic of your food. And that is, of course, important to figure out when you're determining what type of food items you put into your menu. And the last thing to consider is the cost of ingredients. The operation, basically, like the cost of ingredients, the service type, the skill of your staff, like how skilled are the cooks and the chefs that you're employing, as well as how big your fridge and freezer is. Can it really store enough ingredients to go through like a whole day's operation? For instance, you've probably been to Chinese restaurants before, and one thing you probably note when going to these Chinese restaurants is that they have a lot of they have like a lot of different menu options. Like you can like open their menu and it'd be like 10 pages long and contain like 300, 400, maybe 500 different options. And this is mostly because they keep their dishes like simple. Most of these menu options, to be honest, they're all pretty much the same, but with like slightly different tweaking. Like for example, if you go to a place where they have like stir-fried noodles, and sometimes it'll be like stir-fried noodle with beef, stir-fried noodle with pork, with fish. Like they manage to greatly inflate the amount of menu items they have because they're all practically the same, just with a couple of modifications. And that's basically like how these Chinese restaurants manage to keep so many it's how they manage to keep like menus with like up to 500 like different items. And it's insane. But yeah, that's how they operate. And yeah. So that's basically like so yeah, anyway, I think that's just about here that I'd say that just about wraps up like the basics when it comes to like running, how to like create a menu for a restaurant. And so yeah, I'd say that's just about it for today. Back to you, Aiden.
If I had to design my own menu, it would be just my favorite things on the menu, not like a specific thing. And I always thought that menus were just like, breakfast menu, lunch menu, and dinner menu. But there are so many factors to consider when you're making a menu. I know for a fact that if I wanted to open a restaurant, I would need somebody to help me with my menu. So might need to ask you, Logan, if I ever do. Now, I'm going to keep it moving because you know what? You had so much to talk about on menus, and there was so much that we're going to have to skip over the board game news, and we're going to have to go straight into Jeffrey with his live music.
Hi, everybody. Happy 2024. It's Jeffrey, your live musician, and I'm going to be playing some music for you. Hope you're ready to dance. Hope you're ready to jam or just do whatever. Have fun. And I'm going to be playing Get Back by the Beatles. But he knew it couldn't last. Jojo left his heart in Tucson, Arizona, for some California grass. Get back, get back, get back where you belong. Get back, get back, get back where you once belong. Get back to Joe. Thought she was a woman, but she was another man. All the girls around said she's not coming, but she gets it while she can. Get back, get back, get back where you want to belong. Get back, get back where you want to belong. Thought she was a woman, but she was another man. All the girls around said she's got it coming, but she gets around she can. Get back, get back, get back where you right to now. Get back, get back, get back where you want to know. Where you want to go. Get back, get back where you want to go. Ooh. Go. That's where you once belong. Get back, get back where you once belong. Get back, get back, get back where you once belong. Thank you, everybody. This is Jeffrey, your live musician. I'll see you all next week, and check out my website, jeffreyakerman.com. Anyways, back to you, Aiden. Bye, everybody.
Always great to have that cherry on top, Jeff. Other than that, guys, this has been the first episode of our 2024 Youth Connect. If you liked Youth Connect, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe.
And don't forget to click the notification bell.
Other than that, guys, I hope that you had a great time listening to some awesome Youth Connect news. Thank you so much, Joshua. Thank you so much, Jeff. Thank you so much, Logan. And thank you so much, Kevin. And we will see you all next time. Goodbye, guys. Catch you later.
Bye. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye bye.